Yeah, this is a new piece. I mean, this is the first time it's being shown, and it's, you know, all of 6 months old, maybe, from the beginning of the idea. And it's little loudspeakers with a piece of tinfoil over them.
Yeah.
And a needle that hangs on the tinfoil.
Okay.
When there's electricity running through it, when the circuit's completed by the needle touching the tinfoil, it makes a current through the loudspeaker, and that sends the needle out, breaking the circuit. And then the needle comes back to rest, and it starts over and over again. So it's like the first telegraph interrupter of the 19th century. That's all it is. My interest in sound is less, I'll just say it out front, is less aesthetic than it is conceptual. It's a marker. The fact that there is a sound is more important to me than what sound. And in this case, the comma, I don't know if you know, think of the idea of the comma is this discrepancy that occurs between a conceptualization and reality, like the comma of Pythagoras in the circle of fifths and the harmonic series. So for me, the comma here is the discrepancy is between signal and sound. Sound is often represented as a signal in our world, a digital signal or an audio stream or something like that. And there's sound, and we know there are different ones, you know, vibrations, we're told, of air, and the other is vibrations of electricity, but they're supposed to coincide totally. And the place, obviously they don't, and this is where the world gets interesting. And, you know, aesthetics comes out of that, but a lot of other stuff comes out of that little difference. So here, when the needle goes away, it flies off, it makes a sound against the tinfoil. That's a sound. But it also makes a sound in the loudspeaker, a click. That's a signal. These two sounds should coincide perfectly, but in fact, they don't. One goes out the back of the speaker, one goes out the front, and they sound out the space with these two sets of clicks. And the two clicks also, the tinfoil has some rattle in it. And it has this other thing that only happens in the sound. And these things go on, they're identical, and then they start, in your perception, you start to hear them drifting. You know, sometimes they're not the same. So it's got this real world flow to it. That has to do with the distinction between the sound and the signal. And to me, so much of our media culture is about sound and signal. It's like the difference between, you know, what we perceive or what we intend to do and the stuff that happens in the world.
I can see that.
It's that kind of distinction. So here, in a really simple way. The sound itself kind of has a happy feeling to me. I mean, I loved listening to it when I was playing with this in the spring, and it just, and it reminded me of, you know, this old-fashioned, before microwave popcorn, this kind of popcorn you do on your stove that was in tinfoil bag, Jiffy Pop, which they still make. So I called it Jiffy Pop. But that isn't the beginning of the idea or the end of it. It's just a little, you know, locus along the way. That's not what it's about. Just kind of an aside, I've done a lot of pieces having to do with phonograph, sound inscription, early sound inscription. And the needle on tinfoil was the first phonograph that Edison made before the wax cylinder. And this piece does draw these vibrations. It leaves a trace. Eventually it wears right through the tinfoil. And it leaves all these tiny marks, these little engraved marks on it. So in a sense, it's making a recording of all of its motions on this piece of foil. At the end, you could take it, and there'd be no machine that could play it back, because you'd have to know which. I mean, and then if you did play it back, it would only be the sound of the clicking. So this very, you know, rudimentary, kind of most basic sound. But it is a recording. It does make a permanent record of everything it ever did.